Hi there, this is Mr. Alexander, and today I want to talk to you about writing quadratic equations from a given set of points. Now, the standard form of the quadratic equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. The process for doing this is, first step is to plug x and y into this equation to get three equations. And when we have those three equations, they're going to be in terms of A, B, and C. So we're going to want to solve the system so that we can get A, B, and C. And once we have A, B, and C, we're going to plug in A, B, and C. Plug in A, B, and C into the quadratic equation. So that we have our new equation. So let's talk about what that means specifically here. So we've got some points here, and I always like to start by numbering these 1, 2, 3. And so we always start with the equation y equals, and I'm going to write it the other way, ax squared plus bx plus c equals y. Now if you plug in these x and y's in these equations, equation 1, let's see, negative 1 squared is just positive 1. That's going to leave me with 1a. Negative 1 into the x there is going to be negative 1b. And then there's no x next to the c, so that's just going to be plus c. And all of that equals the y value, which in this case is 16. Equation 2, when you plug a 3 in there, 3 squared is 9a plus 3b, when you plug in a 3 for x, plus c equals the y value of 0. And the third equation, and the last one, 5 squared is 25a plus 5b plus c equals 4. Now hopefully you've recognized this as a system of equations with three variables, a, b, and c. So we can use a matrix to solve it. And that matrix is going to be 1, negative 1, 1. And then after the equal sign is a 16. And the second equation is 9, 3, 1. After the equal sign is a 0. And then our third equation is 25, 5, 1. After the equal sign is a 4. So I'm going to go over to my calculator now. And in the calculator, I am going to type in, well, I'm going to go to the matrix screen. So I'm going to go second matrix, go over to edit. This is a 3 by 4 system. I'm just going to type it in. 1, negative 1, 1, 16, 9, 3, 1, 0, 25, 5, 1, and 4. And to solve this system, we're going to go back to the home screen, second quit, second matrix over to math, up to B, second matrix A. It's going to spit out the solution for me. A is 1, B is negative 6, C is 9. A equals 1, B is negative 6, C is 9. And from this information, I can write the equation y equals 1x squared, or just x squared if you prefer, minus 6x plus 9. This is the answer. So let's do that again. Here's another table of data, and so this time I've got a 1, a 2, a 3. Let's write it, and I like to start with ax squared plus bx plus c equals y. So equation 1, negative 2 squared is just 4a. Negative 2, when you plug it in there, is going to be negative 2b. It's just going to be plus c every time, and that's going to equal negative 8. That's equation 1. Equation 2, 0 squared is just 0a, 0b, and then c equals 0. Equation 3, 3 squared is 9a, plus 3b plus c equals negative 3. So I've got a system of equations, so I'm going to solve it using the matrix. My first set of coefficients are 4, negative 2, 1, after the equal sign's a negative 8, 0, 0, 1, 0, 9, 3, 1, negative 3. At this point, it's calculator work. So we're going to go to the matrix screen, edit, still a 3 by 4. Just going to type in what I already have over there. 4, negative 2, 1, negative 8, 0, 0, 1, 0, 9, 3, 1, negative 3. And when I get the calculator to tell me that one, it's going to spit out negative 1 for A, 2 for 0, or sorry, 2 for B, and 0 for C. So A equals negative 1, B equals 2, C equals 0. So my equation then is simply y equals negative x squared, or if you prefer, just negative x squared, negative 1x squared, negative x squared, whatever you like, plus 2x. And since the c, the constant, is 0, you can just leave it off. You don't have to write the plus 0 there. So this is the equation. And that's it. That's the whole thing. The only reason that this would be any different from the other two is from here, you've got to get 3 points. So that point right there is 0, 0. Right there is 1, negative 2. And this one is 2, 0. And it's the exact same process. So if you can just pick 3 points off of there, then you'll be good to go. Same exact process. So that's one way to write the quadratic equation from data. Your calculator has a nifty other way called a quadratic regression. And I thought we'd talk about that a little bit. First, let's talk about the steps of getting it. Step number 1 is you're going to go to stat edit in the calculator. And you're going to type the x's into list 1. And the y's go into list 2. And then from here, you're going to do stat calc 5, which is quadratic regression. And it's going to tell you your A, your B, and your C. So we can essentially skip all the steps where we had to write the system of equations, and we can go straight to letting the calculator worry about the system of equations, and we can just get the answer. So let me show you what I'm talking about with this example right here. So we've got 3 points, right? So I'm going to go to stat, and I'm going to go to edit. And in list 1, I'm going to type in the 3 x values, negative 2, 1, and 3. And in list 2, I'm going to type in the 3 y values, 8, negative 1, 23. The next step is to go stat over to calc 5 for quadratic regression. That quadratic regression is just a way of the calculator trying to fit a quadratic model from the data that you've given it. So quadratic regression, when I hit enter here, it's going to tell me my A, my B, and my C. So I'm just going to write those down. The A equals 3, the B equals 0, the C equals negative 4. So when I write the equation, it's y equals 3x squared plus 0x minus 4. So there's not a lot of work to be shown on that because the calculator did most of the work for you. Let's check out this one. Same process. Stat, edit. This time it's negative 2, 20, 0, 0, and 3, 0. Stat, calc, 5. This happens sometimes on the calculator. this is scientific notation. It's a really small number. It's like a decimal point, 13 zeros, and then a 9 and a 6. So it's really close to 0. We're going to go ahead and call that 0. So A equals 2, B equals -6, and even though the calculator didn't do a very good job of saying it, C is 0. Really close to 0. We'll go ahead and call it 0. So the equation is y equals 2x squared minus 6x plus 0 is just this. Okay, last one. So we've got a graph here, so we're going to have to identify the points. And I'm just going to pick some. I've got 0, 0 here. It looks like right here I've got 0.5 comma -2. And we could probably also take this one, which is -0.5 comma 0. So I'm going to use these 3 points now. So I'm going to go stat, edit. I'm just going to type them in. So my first point was -0.5, 0, and 0.5. And I've got a 0, a 0, and a -2. And I'm going to let the calculator calculate the A, the B, and the C for me. Stat calc 5. I got -4 for A, -2 for B, and 0 for C. So A equals -4, B equals -2, C equals 0. So this quadratic equation for this graph right here is y equals -4x squared minus 2x. Now, we haven't talked about it, but we should. A good way to double check our work here would be to go ahead and let's go to y equals, and let's type in that equation we got. -4x squared minus 2x. Now, if I go to the table, I should be able to see the points that I just got. So let's see, I've got 0, 0, that one's on there. But I can't see these 0.5s because my calculator skips right over them. So if I go to second window and see how it says delta table, that's the change in the table. If you just change that from 1 to 0.5 and then go back, we'll be able to see those points. -0.5 was 0, that's what it was supposed to be. And +0.5 was -2. That's what it's supposed to be as well. So that's a good way to double check your work. Check the table. Make sure the equation spits out the points it's supposed to. And that's it. That's how you're going. There's 2 ways to that I've shown you today to, when you're given data, to write the quadratic equation. This side was quadratic regression, which is calculator work. This side was solving systems of equations, where you have to write the equations, but then it's calculator work from there when you solve the system of equations. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and good luck. See you next time.